Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone. Good to have you with us today. The director of the East Cleveland Public Library, Sheba Marcus Bay, is here to talk about her new role and her vision for the East Cleveland Library. Later on, we'll hear from Michael Shrestha, who will tell us about the Asian Indian Heritage Project. And later on the program after that, Portia Gatson of Mommy Knows Breast. We'll talk about her program, which increases awareness about breastfeeding. Good morning again. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope. So we begin. Beginning with Sheba Marcus Bay, the director of the East Cleveland Public Library. Hey, Sheba.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Leon.
You're kind of new in the job over there at East Cleveland Public Library.
Yes.
Although you've been around library circles, as we were chatting, for a long time. Yeah, well, good.
Turning the page.
Yeah, good to have you with us. What's your overall mission? You're running the show now as the director over there. What's your overall mission for East Cleveland Public Library?
Well, it's a simple mission. 3 points: to connect with our community, to connect with our schools, and to work on our credibility.
Work on credibility?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, raising some standards over there?
Raising our standards and just getting people to understand that we are dedicated to our community.
Tell us about some of the programs that you're really fired up about.
We're really fired up about Affordable Care Act, you know, the ACA, and making sure people can get access to health care. We're really working hard towards connecting our resources with the community. As you know, our community is pretty low income, pretty much low income, and we're in a place where we got to make sure people are connected to the resources on that level. In terms of our schools, we really want to make sure our youth get access to activities and programming that's going to increase their capacity as future leaders. So we want to make sure literacy is at the forefront of their activities. So we're doing things with mentoring our youth, direct programming that is going to get them engaged and, you know, positioning them for understanding that they're the future leaders. So literacy is a real big issue for us.
You mentioned income just a moment ago, but it is my contention, regardless of one's income, the public library is there.
Yes.
And it is public and it is free. Well, we all pay for it through our taxes, of course, but it is there and it is open to the, and it will open up your entire world. So even though the income may not be where you want it to be, you have access to information.
Right. Information literacy is critical to leveraging your possibilities. So in terms of, like you said, the public library is there, our tax base supports it, we're an independent library system, and with that being the case, it's a cultural value that gives you access to raising your income, your life standard, and things like that. It's about mobility, and when you have information, you can definitely become mobile.
Yeah. Where are you located there in East Cleveland?
We are located at 14101 Euclid Avenue, and that's right down on the health line.
Yeah, right on the health line.
Right on the health line.
Where the RTA stops right there in front of your place.
Right.
The East Cleveland Public Library. You've got a program called the SNAP program.
Yes.
Sheba, tell me a little bit about
Well,
that.
it's a benefits-driven program, and what people can do is they can come and they can get access to getting knowledge about how they can get their access to food, resources, and things like that. So we meet with our public there a couple times a week, and people can come in. It's a part of the benefits bank, the 211 program.
I was intrigued by some notes I'd seen about you, about the East Cleveland Public Library, that there are tax preparation services that you offer. Now, how does that work as we are approaching tax preparation time?
Well, we're working on establishing access 6 days a week. So we are going to be partnering with the Enterprise program, and they're going to come out and give our public access to doing their taxes on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. What that will do, it will, you know, and we're working on another partner as well, but I don't want to reveal that right now, but we're going to have 6 days worth of tax preparation. With people in East Cleveland, you have a situation where a lot of times they are a little more eager and aggressive in terms of going to the tax preparers, and with the earned income tax, the EIC, they have access to, you know, getting their money and things like that. But we want to do their preparation and give them education and information so they don't have to pay the fees that go with, you know, the tax preparation with the big players that are out there.
We're going to continue our conversation, but I want to put some numbers on the screen where you can get more information on what we're talking about at the East Cleveland Public Library. 216-541-4128. You see that number there, and an extension 232. Or you can go to ecpl.lib.oh.us. You see that at the bottom of the screen as well. You might want to write those down. What intrigues you about the library business? You've been doing library work now for some years, even before East Cleveland.
Yes.
What intrigued you about going into the library business in the first place?
Well, I am intrigued because I get a chance to learn something every day, and knowledge is power. I started off as a community page, or a page in the community. I grew up in the Huff area, and if you know where the Martin Luther King Plaza is, back in the 80s, they built a new Huff branch. They replaced the Treasure House branch. And with that being the case, I was in there all the time, and Miss Aldana, she's a Filipino, and she's a librarian. She saw me in there every day, and she's like, you know, you're in here every day, start working. So I had a chance to cut my teeth as a page, and I got exposed to the career through her. I also worked at the Cleveland Clinic in the medical library. I also worked for Ernst & Young as at the Center for Business Knowledge that was housed here back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And I worked for Detroit Public Library, Euclid Public Library, and Cleveland Public Library, and I have about 15 years of library service underneath my belt.
Books and videos and audios and all kinds of things right there at the library.
Information.
I always show the kids this when I speak in schools. That's my library card right there. You don't need to get a tight shot of it. It's okay. But that's my library card, which I keep right on my keychain there, because I find myself in somebody's library at least once a week. Usually twice a week. I'm in the library checking out a book or a video or an audio or something, or looking up something.
It's the place to be.
It is the place to be. And in East Cleveland, it is a wonderful place to be. Sheba Marcus Bay is director of the East Cleveland Public Library. 4 months on the job.
4 months.
A lot of years in the library business. But 4 months as the new director. We wish you well out there in East Cleveland.
Thank you, Mr. Bibb.
It is my pleasure. Good to have you on the broadcast. 541-4128 is the phone number to the East Cleveland Public Library. You see the number at the bottom of the screen. Sheba Marcus Bay is its director. Many thanks for being on the broadcast.
Thanks.
Okay. Taking a break right now. Preserving the history of Asian Americans, rather Asian Indians in the United States. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Hello again. Good to have you with us on Kaleidoscope. The Asian Indian Heritage Project has partnered with the Western Reserve Historical Society and South Asian American Digital Archives to preserve the history of Asian Indians in the United States. Michael Shrestha is a founding member of this project and here to tell us more about it. Good to have you with us, Michael Shrestha.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about this Asian Indian Heritage Project. What is it?
The goal of this project is to preserve history of Asian Indians living in Northeast Ohio, and for the benefit of future generations. And we are trying to keep as much information for the future generations as possible.
Well, what inspired you to found this project?
Oh, that's an interesting story, because 2 years ago we did not have an Asian Indian Heritage Project, and a lady called me because I was in the board of Federation of Indian Community Associations at that time, and she asked me if she can trace some information about her father. And at that time, I told her we don't have any kind of historical data of Asian Indians living in Cleveland. And I passed this information to our board, and then we got together and said it's a very interesting project, and we should keep historical data of our community for future generations. And so we went ahead and formed this group and made her the founding director.
Oh, well, there you make a phone call.
And she
you make a phone call and you get a job.
That's right.
How many Asian Indians are here in Northeast Ohio? Do you keep those kinds of numbers? Or?
Yes, we do. And we have an approximate number of about 25,000 right now. And back in 1950, we had practically none. And about 1960, we had about 20. So that's grown
So
significantly.
the numbers are growing. The
Very
numbers
fast.
are growing, and people are immigrating, and of course, and many are being born here too. You know,
That is true.
So we're glad to see that. That diversity makes us all stronger here in the United States, and certainly here in Northeast Ohio. What are some of the items that you're looking for? You're keeping the heritage going. What do you want people to send you, or what do you want them to get in contact you with?
Basically, we are looking for diaries, any kind of certificates, membership lists, and things like, for example, newspapers, articles that they can find, or any data, any letters, or anything that they have, which could be connected and made into a story, because we would use all that information for the future generations to preserve some kind of a historical trail of where they came from, what happened to them, and what were their experiences in this country initially when they first came here.
If you know where you came from, you got a better idea where you are and where you may want to go.
That's right.
That's what it's all about. Now tell me about the partnership with the Western Reserve Historical Society and any other similar organizations that you have.
Yes, what we have done is, in order to preserve this historical information, it has to be kept in a certain temperature and a certain acid-free environment. So we have partnered with Western Reserve because they have a good environment for that. And Western Reserve Historical Society has been very encouraging in this matter, and they have helped us to form our own community archive there.
They've got an archives for the Asian Indian Heritage Project. I know they got an African American archives, you know, for African Americans. So they're widening the footprint of all of us there. What can people do now? They want to get in touch with you. They may want to start sending you information. How do they go about doing that?
If anybody wants to contribute any information, they can contact us through our website. We don't have a website right now, but we can go through our blog on cleveland.com.
Yeah, and I've got some notes on that. Yeah, cleveland.com. If you go to cleveland.com, and up in the top there's a search box, and if you type in AIHP, Asian Indian Heritage Project, that will connect you right to where you guys are, right to where your blog is. Cleveland.com, look for the search box, type in AIHP. You can get more information on everything we're talking about. And I've got a phone number too. Is this the phone number that you're using for people to contact you by telephone?
Correct, because we don't have an office right now, and we are a grassroots organization, but eventually we are planning to get our own website, and that will be in the near future. And at that time, we will communicate those developments to you.
Yeah, and we can put this phone number on the screen.
You could, yeah.
I don't know if that's your personal phone or however you want to do that, but it's 216-403-3012. You see at the bottom of the screen. You can get more information that we're talking about. What's your long-term vision in the last 30 seconds we have? What's your long-term vision for this project?
This long-term vision for our project is to continue our oral history project that we have started. And right now we are doing oral histories of the first immigrants to our area. And this we would like to continue to the next level by interviewing people of who have contributed significantly to our society and to the greater society as well. And then we would like to also interview younger generation and to document their experience right now, even though they have never been in India or any other place like that.
So we should have people get in touch with you at cleveland.com. Look for the search box and type in AIHP after you've gone to cleveland.com, or make a phone call at the number on the bottom of the screen. Mr. Michael Schrusser, founding member of the Asian Indian Heritage Project, thanks for being on the broadcast.
Thanks for welcoming.
Good to have you here. Just hold your position right there. We're going to close out in just a moment. We're going to talk about encouraging mothers to breastfeed their babies after we do this first. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope. Glad to have you here, too. Portia Gatson is here. She's a certified lactation counselor who founded Mommy Knows Breast to encourage and increase awareness around breastfeeding. She'll tell us about her organization and explain why it's important to breastfeed the babies. Good to have you with us, Portia.
Thank you, Leon. Glad to be here.
Certified lactation counselor, is that it?
Yes, sir.
CLC is it called?
Yes, it's a CLC, and in very simple terms, I assist women to breastfeed their babies. I help them, I support them physically, to physically breastfeed their babies. I help them with all of the intricate things that comes around breastfeeding. Yes.
The breast pump and all of those.
The pump and the scheduling and the craziness and
the different hours when the baby wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
which is usually maybe 1.5 to 2 hours, unlike formula where babies sleep a little longer. So yeah, it's just there's so much. Even though breastfeeding is natural, it doesn't come natural to every woman. In fact, most women have some type of issues within the very first couple days.
Yeah, I remember when our kids were born, we were dealing with that. I was not dealing with it personally.
Yes, I'm sure you
but
were.
I was very much involved.
You're indirectly dealing with it.
I'm right there.
That's right.
I'm right there.
That's right.
Tell me about Mommy Knows Breast, the organization you founded. Why did you found that?
Well, Leon, in 2002, when I had my son, I actually had no breastfeeding support. And one of the reasons is that for our culture, African American culture, there are very few breastfeeding role models. So, which means my aunts, my mom, people around me just didn't breastfeed. So no one was able to tell me and assist me on what I was supposed to do, if everything was going okay. So I really felt like that with my family base, that if I didn't have any support, I bet there was a lot of women out there who did not either. So I started Mommy Knows Breast, and I have supported hundreds of women here in the Cleveland area. I've worked with the CEOGC, I've worked with the BAMS program, and I found out that the personal support that moms get when they're breastfeeding makes a world of difference.
Makes a world of difference.
Yes,
Well, let's
it
put a
does.
phone number on the screen there. You can get in touch with Portia Gadsden, founder of Mommy Knows Breast, at 216-338-5344, or you can go to her website, which is mommyknowsbreast.net. Why is it important for mothers to breastfeed in your estimation? What's it do for the family, certainly for the child?
Sure, I'll give you the three-pronged answer. For the baby, the benefits are just limitless. You know, in today's society, we're talking about allergies. Babies have less incident of allergies. It does wonders for their immune system, and it binds the immune system, and it actually allows for very, very few things to actually invade. Cleveland is actually 11th in the nation in infant mortality. Not good at all. And most of these problems that babies have are diarrheal and gut problems, and they can be actually prevented with human milk in the first few days of life.
My mother told me that I was breastfed.
That's why you're so wonderful.
Well, you're too kind. Of course, I don't remember it, but does that have a lifelong impact on the lives of those children who grew up who were breastfed?
Absolutely. In fact, people who are well into adulthood, you're able to see footprints of breastfeeding well into adulthood, that they were actually breastfed as babies. And another thing, Leon, one of the major things that we're dealing with in our society is obesity. Women who breastfeed their babies are actually teaching them when to stop eating. They learn on their own. When they're done eating, they stop. Whereas bottle-fed babies or breastfed or babies who are not breastfed, we tend to overfeed them, and we don't let them regulate their own appetites. And believe it or not, the studies are showing that that is one issue that helps them to regulate their weight.
In our final minute here, let me ask you, how many people have you worked with, or how wide an area do you work with Mommy Knows Breast?
Actually, I work with many women here in Northeast Ohio, hundreds that I've actually worked with, but through my website I can be reached.
You can be reached?
I can be reached from anywhere.
Mommy Knows Breast, and you supply answers, questions?
I supply answers to questions, general support by text, telephone, Skype. I'm actually able to support moms in whatever way that they need to.
mommyknowsbreast.net is the website, and you can also call Portia at 338-5344 in the 216 area code. In our final 30 seconds, this has a major impact on the lives of the children.
Yes, it does, and the families. sustainability is a big deal, and it has an impact on the world.
And it is it's as God intended it. It is as normal as normal can be.
It is, and we should stop trying to go against the grain and just do what is normal.
And let women even breastfeed in public as long as they know how to cover up.
Absolutely, it goes both ways. Women can be discreet, but they should have the right to do it.
Yeah, we've got grandkids in my family, and I've seen my kids getting breastfed by our daughters.
That's right.
I didn't even know they were doing, and they were right across the room.
That's the best way. They were doing great.
They were under a cover there.
That's right. Then they were doing great. That's right.
Many thanks, Portia Gatson, founder of Mommy Knows Breast. Appreciate you being on the broadcast.
Thank you.
Oh, it is my pleasure. Coming up next, the Morning Exchange with Marsha Maccabee of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. After this. The Urban League section of the broadcast is called The Morning Exchange. Here's Marsha Maccabee. Hey, Marsha.
Hi, Leon. How are you doing
I'm just
morning?
fine, Marsha. Doing well today.
Good. Listen, we're approaching that time of the Thanksgiving season and the holiday season.
Yeah.
And as always, we just want to talk about how important it is to be thankful during this time. And I'd just like to take a point of personal privilege this morning and just and say that I'm really thankful to have celebrated my 44th wedding anniversary. And I want to encourage our audience that where in our families we have people who have been married for long term, that we should celebrate that. You know, in this era of, you know, all kinds of different ways of thinking and different ways of going, in our culture, we don't want to lose that family unit.
You know, and marriage is still vital. It is still important. It is still what life is about.
Absolutely. It leaves a legacy in our families.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you and James Maccabee are still holding hands?
We are still holding hands.
44 years later, you're still holding hands.
We absolutely are.
And in love with each other, and that's what
we
it's supposed to be.
certainly are.
But that sends a strong signal, certainly in the community, throughout all of America.
Yes.
It needs to be talked about much more about making commitment.
And I think that when we can model that for the younger couples, and when they have their struggles, we can take them by the hand and say, you know what, it's not going to be without struggle, but it's worth going through.
But you go through holding hands together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're still the apple of his eye.
I think so.
And he's still a good guy, too.
He sure is.
Yes, you've loved each other, and he's a good guy. James Maccabee is a very good man. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And happy anniversary to both of you.
Thank you, Leon.
Yeah, from all of us on the Kaleidoscope broadcast.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for us. For Marsha Maccabee, I'm Leon Bibb. Good luck, be well. We'll talk again. So long.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.